Let's see what else we can do. Load this one. We need to put share screen. Alrighty. Oh, it shows like 11 o'clock in here. Let's see. And my server. Adjust time in here. Makes sense. Central time. Well. It's the same thing. Time and date. Anyway, not important. Let's see. Okay, so did you receive some information from me today? I send you, let me move this one around. This is like that. Trying to organize my screen. Okay, if you check your email, I send you data files. Okay. Let's see, what is the chat? Doesn't see the chat right here. Okay. Yes, the zip folder, you need to unzip it and zip it on the server that you use SQL on it. So, and after you do that, you open it. Once you open it, you're gonna have something like this. Let's see what I did this one here. Something like this. Okay, but before you open it, you deal with it. You need to create two databases. One is Kim Tay, and the other one is Stay Will. Okay. And according to the database you create, you have a script for each one of them. I think the one we use the most at this particular chapter for right now is the Kim Tay script. Okay, because this is where you create all the tables. And the reason why you need this, so if you want to do the exercise to joining two tables with the single SQL command, like we did on the PowerPoint last week, you can follow the instructions. And also, I received the new PowerPoints. Do you have the new PowerPoints? I'll send it to you too. So you can see, for example, how you join two tables with a single SQL command using the select statement. Okay. Let me send you the PowerPoint folder, which is, I can do that. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Okay, so, well, I received those. All right, I still have Outlook, so that's what I need, Outlook. Okay. And this is the Outlook right here. So I'm gonna go to the new ones and do paste you PPT. Let me see what I have on the download. Download SQL PPT. Let me zip this one here. Send to zip. Yes, and go attach file. SQL, this guy here. Okay. SQL 10 PT. All right, you should have it now in your mail, okay? So what I did yesterday, once you are in the database, first of all, the first step, what you need to do is what? Anybody remember the first step? You need to create a database, two databases, right? One called what? Did I send it? I don't know. I should send it, yeah. Yes, Skimtay, yes, and stay well. That's what you need to do. After you create them, then you open the appropriate file, okay? When you click on it, you're gonna have, I think you're gonna have a 3 different file version. So you need to select SQL, not MySQL and all that stuff. SQL Server, which is our, yeah, that's fine. This one here and this one here. Because in a data file, you have file for every, like MySQL, Oracle, and all that stuff. So that's what you need to select. So in this case, you click on this. Depends on your machine, how fast you can open it. Let me go to my studio. Oh no. Management Studio, okay. So we have to log in first to make sure you can connect to your database. In mine, it takes a little, I guess I need to replace that machine. Get me a faster one. Which is okay. Okay, you see that? This is the local host, connect. Okay, so connect right here. So what you do, you go to databases. I created one here. You see that? Kimte, when. Okay, so what you do, once you select the database you want, then you go to execute. Don't use the drop table, okay, if it exists. Well, you can, because in your case, it's not going to be existent. So you can highlight each one on each section by section, and you execute one section at the time, okay? And after you do that, you're going to generate something like this, okay? You're going to have a tables, and that's the tables like we did in the exercise last week. They have the customer, the invoice line, the invoices, and the item and the sales, okay? So that's what allow you to do your exercise. Like for example, on the first one, we need to do was join in two tables, okay? So really, I don't need this one here because I already did it. But for you guys, I showed you what to do. After you join, you open your SQL server in the studio, the SQL management studio. You select whatever you want, like each section, and you execute it to generate the tables. But make sure you generate the tables inside the right database. So you need to create the database first, okay? Any question at this point? Is that clear instruction or some people still confused? Okay, anybody else? Anybody has a question?
We're good.
You good? Don, you good? Hayward, you okay? Corel McZeal, do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Good.
I can follow.
All right. So that's good. So everybody's good. So we need to create those two databases first. And you insert all this inside the database. You do the execution. You highlight them and you execute them. Okay. So let's do one at a time. So I'm gonna go to this one here. Let me close this one. I didn't need it. Let's see. What is this? Module 3. I don't need that. Okay. You know what? Let me close all this stuff. I opened so many one of them and one screen. Oh, I have some kind of updates, I guess. Always have updates with the SQL Server Management Studio. So go ahead. Can you create those database now, and so we can do the exercise together? Oh man, what did it do? A local host maybe? All right, so that's my local host. So update, that's fine. We do the update. It's gonna take 2 seconds. Download SQL management server. I see. I'll do the update later. How about that? I don't know how long this is gonna take, so I'm not gonna do it now. So we go to database. In your case, you go to database and you go to new query and you create a database called whatever the name, K something. Okay. So now, in my case, so Kim Tay. Okay. So this guy, if I want to do join two tables, first of all, you need to see your tables. So if you look like the tables, how are you going to view each table? So you have here, if you right click on it and you can see, you can select statement, you select all, or you can say, I want to see the top 200 rows, or select the top 100 rows. Okay, so this is your tables right here. You see that? That's the tables. And you can see you have a lot of columns. You have customer ID, first name, last name, address, city, state, postal, email, balance, credit, and rep area, okay? Same thing, if you go to the invoice line here, you right click here, you see the first 10, 1,000, you say the invoice number, the item ID, the quantity, and the price, okay? And this is the invoice, that's the invoice line, and this is the invoices, okay? That's the invoices, and so on. So if I want to join two tables together, what are you supposed to do? You need to do a query, okay? So you go over here and say new query. When you get new query, you have to write it. But before you do that, make sure you refresh it. Uh, that saves you a lot of typing. Refresh. And you need to do the Intel. Oh, see, that's the problem. I don't have, let me see. Refresh database. Let's see what else. Edit. All right, so no problem. Refresh, edit. I don't know how they disappear. That IntelliSense. So this way they save you a lot of problem. So to join, you have to use. You go to, for example, use the select statement. Um, and this is all the time you need to use join two tables. What you need to do, you need to use the select clause, okay? And you need to say what column you want to display and from which table. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, first of all, you need to select, use the select clause, and you're going to say what columns you want. Then you're going to say from which tables, okay? And the last one, you're going to put the condition. Okay, what statement specify the conditions? Anybody remember? What clause that specify the condition? Uh, looks like you forgot. Not if. If is in programming. How about SQL? We use where clause, okay? So for example, in this case, we need to use the where clause because what we're trying to do, we're trying to join two tables together. So if you want to join two tables together, what's the condition? Remember from last week? That was long time ago, maybe 600 years. Last week. Okay, what do I need to join two tables together? What's the prerequisite?
Insert? Question mark?
They have to have, the two tables supposed to have what? A common column. A common column. Okay, remember that? So they have to have a common column in between the two in order to join. And that common column is supposed to be with the same data type. Okay, that's what we discussed last week. So let's do that. So in this case, I'm going to use the select statement. Select what? Well, according to the instruction, and you see that customer, which is cust. Let me use the caps here so we'll be on the same page. Cust ID underscore ID. Oh, ID. Okay, comma. That's the columns basically I'm doing. And also I need the customer first name. Remember that? So this way you say customer, which is that's the table, dot what? First name. See that first name? That's what the IntelliSense is good for. Then you put a comma. So now what I'm doing, I'm trying to select the columns that I need to display out of this joint. Okay. Comma, customer. The customer is a table. Dot last name right here, comma. Now, sales underscore rip, that's another tables, which is if you want to see the tables, you click on here, and that's what you see. You see, that's the sales rip tables. So from the sales rip, what do I need? I need a dot. I need this column, rep ID. See that rep ID right here? So that's what I need, comma, and I need what else? I need the sales first name and last name. And also from the same one, sales rep dot first name, which is right here. I can do one here, comma. What else? Last name. So it's gonna be sales rep dot last name. Okay. So what I'm doing here, I'm getting the these columns from different tables, okay? Now, from where I'm gonna get this one here, you're gonna say from customer, that's the tables, and comma, what? Sales rep. I don't think I need to do them because I specify them in here, but I'm just doing like what they recommend. Now, that's the condition where what? That's the condition where customer dot rep ID, because that's what's a common in between the two. Between the two tables, they have the customer rep ID, comma, not comma, equal, that's the condition, where that it equal the sales rep dot what? Rep ID. You follow? This is the common. Then you close the bracket and you put the semicolons. That's the report that you want. If somebody asks you, okay, I want this data right here, these columns or these fields, okay? And this is what we call the join in two tables with a single SQL command. So, because that information in between the two, and they share this columns. So I need to report everybody, the sales rep ID is the same from both tables. So that's basically what we're doing. So if you put F5 or execute, and that's basically what I'm generating. See that? I have the customer ID, which is I specified here. I have the first name from the customer table, last name from the customer table, and I need a sales rep. Okay, this is from the sales, and sales first name and last name, that's from the sales table. Now, what's in common between sales and customer? They have something called the rep ID, where the rep ID is equal. So, which is 0, 5, 10, blah, 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 blah. See that? So 0, 5, 10, 15, and 10, 15. Okay, so they have all of these are the same. Now, if you look at the customer table, you have a lot of information on the customer table besides this, but we're only interested by this information, not everything on the customer table and not everything on the sales rep. So what do you think? That makes sense? Not too bad. Okay.
Not too bad.
So, really to learn what we're doing, you need to take your time. And since we have the data already generated for us now, so we can use those tables, we can import it because I sent you the script. And from the script, you can generate these tables. All righty. Now, what else we did last week? Now we can further do the same thing like we did customer ID, customer last name, first name from both tables, but this time over here we did customer rep ID and sales rep ID. Now I can use another command here, okay? I can say, and, remember the and condition and credit limit, the credit limit, okay, and credit limit equal to 500. Okay, so I'm gonna select all this time and F5. So now this is basically I'm showing the same report I did before, but with the customer with the credit limit 500. Okay, so those guys has the credit limit equal to 500. So it's the same thing as we did before, but we added another condition. Is remember, where is the condition? That's they're called the condition clause. Okay, which is basically the where clause basically uh, restrict from rows and columns what you want to display. Basically, it looks for the match. Okay, and that's why the condition. We said it's condition. That's why with the credit limit 500. So now we can do another one, which is joining the invoice line and the item tables. Joining the invoice line, see that? And the items. So this is like two tables. I mean, if you want, you can take a look at the invoice line. And you can see what's common in between the two, between this table and this table. So if I right click here and select the top 10, okay, I have invoice number, item ID, quantity encoded. So I think the common in between the two is the item ID, okay? So if I go to item right here, right click here and display this. And also this is have an item ID. You follow? This is the column, the common column between the two tables. Okay. So they ask us, for example, to use a select statement where to join joining the invoice line table with the item tables, where the invoice line was the item ID in the invoice line table equal to the item ID in the item table. So how are we going to do that? That's the same thing like we did before. So we have to use the select statement, and we need to use the select clause. Basically, we need to use the from clause in the where clause. So we go in the new query right here, and we're going to say select, not elect. I'm not electing anybody yet. So select, okay, select invoice, because this is when the invoice line, invoice number. I wonder why they put invoice number instead of invoice line. Okay, invoice, invoice what? Number. Let's see if I can do it the other way around, okay? If I do invoice dot invoice, see, this is not working like it's supposed to be. Dot invoice number, comma, invoice line. Yeah, it didn't work like it's supposed to. So that's why we start with the other one. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with the instructions. I'm trying to. So we're gonna do select invoice. Underscore number, comma, invoice line. See that? Now it's working. Dot item ID. So the IntelliSense is very good. Item ID, comma, um, I don't know. They say the description here. Description doesn't work with SQL Server. Let's see. Description. This, doesn't work. How about what else? We need quantity. Oh, description. Yes, they have a comma description of the item. So if I put invoice, let's say invoice number, or invoice actually. Let me see. Come on, invoice line, which is this. Invoice line dot. Let's see. Do we have a description? No, we don't have description. Price, and it's not item. I don't know why it's not. Okay, invoice. Let me see. Invoice line. Let's see. 1 second. In the, what are we doing? Invoice line. Invoice line right here. So we top 100 rows. We didn't have description, okay? We have invoice, item, quantity, and this. Who has the description? Maybe items? Let's see. Item has description? Yeah, okay. So, and a quantity, I don't have a quantity. So, I think on the instruction they have some issues. So, I need to correct it. Let me get the. If you do it the PowerPoint number, slide number 7, if you do it that way, I don't think it's gonna work. Okay. Let me see if we can correct it here. So they need the description. The description is in the other table, is in the items table. You put item dot, description. Now it's working. Comma, item, dot, what else? They need the description, the quantity. Quantity. Do we have a quantity? Which is on hand. Why not? Comma, item, dot, coded price, which is a price. Is that coded price in which table? Let's see. Invoice line. Oh, quoted price is in the other one. Okay, quantity, and this one is on the sales. Okay, on the invoice line, it's quantity, and quoted price. Okay, so we need to correct that. What is it? Oh boy, we have to start. That's what the confusion. How about description? Description is on this one here too. Oh, it's on the invoice line. All right. Where's my query? It's gone. Let's do one more time. Okay, so let's do that. Execute, not execute, new query. Okay, let's do it from scratch. Select, we're gonna select invoice, select invoice. Let's see if the invoice line dot invoice line, invoice number. Do we have invoice number? Yeah. This is the invoice number. We'll do it that way. Invoice line dot item ID, okay, comma, let's say description. Let's say, no, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna stick with the same formula, invoice. Let's see, back in here, say invoice line, which is this, dot do we have description on the invoice line? Let's say description, no. Dot quantity, yes. Comma. We have the quantity and the quoted price. Invoice line dot quoted price, comma. Now, do we have a price? Where's the price? Let's see, invoice line. Do we have a price? Dot. No, we don't have a price. So this one is in the other one, is in the item dot item dot price, which is this. That's it. So that's the only I need one item from the item price, which is the. Did we put the description? I don't have the description. Okay, so comma. We need to have the item table, which is this one here, dot. I think that has a description. Okay. So description, and that's it. Notice the description is really that description is really blue because I think it's supposed to be a reserved word. Could not be bound. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know why they put it in here, because description is the reserved word. Okay, let's see, item number here. So if we do tab 10, description, you see that? I don't know. Dot, let's see what they say. Dot, item, dot, description right here. See that? This is it. Well, we'll see if that works. And the from, as a clause, from which table? From the invoice table, invoice line table, and comma from the item table. Now that's the condition. Now we need to do the where clause. So the way they put it in there, they put it like this. Okay, where what? Where the common column between the two tables is the item ID, where the invoice line dot item ID equal to item dot item ID. Item ID right here. Close it and semicolon. Okay, so that's what we need to run to get that report. So let's see, we can highlight this one here and execute it. And here we go. So, we did a boo-boo, which is okay. What the boo-boo did, we're supposed to put the description before the quantity. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why, because on the PowerPoint, you need to, which is slide number 7, they put item ID, then you put the description, quantity, coded price, and price. And they don't specify from which table. That's why we have an error. So sometimes it's good to see what column in which table. Okay, so it's good to view it. If I knew that, I could have put description after the item ID. After the item ID, I should have put item.description, item.quantity, and customer line, coded price, and price. I will get the right report. It's the same information, but they want the description here after the item ID. See? Any question at this point? Does that make sense? Let's see. Okay. So that's the number 7. Now, if you go down the list, you can put another one. Select description from invoice line item and item. Okay, so from both of them. Where invoice line item ID equal this one and invoice number is 14223. So this is like a specific. So basically they want the description for all the items that's in the invoice 14233 and the item ID in the invoice line equal the item ID in the item table, okay? So that's what they want. Which is, let's see, which is another query. So what they need is, but I don't know if this is gonna work, to be honest with you. Because we tried it, doesn't work. Select, let's see. Select, we're gonna try this one, see. Description. Description. From invoice line, comma, item, okay, where, that's the condition, where, that's not how I spell where invoice line dot item ID equal to item, that's the table, item dot item ID. So this is one, this is what we call compound condition, okay? And, that's the and, so the two has to be valid in order to this statement to be true. And invoices, now where's the invoices? Where and invoices number, or invoice number, that's a problem. Where's the invoice number? Let's say invoice number right here. Equal to, because the invoice number value is a string, so you have to put ticks in it like this. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3 ticks, and you need to close the bracket and semicolon. Looks like this is gonna work, okay? So you're supposed to have 3 items in there. Let's see if that works. All right, so there's the description, and this is the items that meet this criteria right here. Okay. So you can see the power of using joint. Basically, that's why it's relational database, so you can get information from different tables that meet certain criteria, and you can build your report accordingly. Okay. So in order to do that, you have 3 major clauses you need to use: the select, from, and where. Okay. Question at this point. No questions. Well, I guess not. We'll go down in the page. So we did this one. Now we need to do, we're gonna do the same thing, but where this is where you put using the in operator instead of join to query tables. Okay, now we need to use the in operator. With item ID in, select item either from invoice where invoice number equal this, which is the same thing, okay? But we're using in instead. So use whatever is simple, okay? So it's the same thing like you did right here, but the only thing we need to change where let me take this one here. And this is like all right, where item ID, let me take this line out. I can retype it, it's okay. Where item ID in this case, and you open this, which is in select item ID, which is in the select item ID in select uh, item ID, which is this one here, item ID, which is this is IntelliSense makes it a lot easier. In the form or from actually, from invoice invoice line, which is this. Now we're gonna have a condition here where the invoice number, invoice number equal to 1214. I'm sorry, 14233 ticks. Oh, we need two of them and semicolon. So it's gonna reproduce the same result. Why we have to complicate it that way? I have no clue. I'd rather do the first one we did, the straightforward. Okay. Oops, we got a problem. Select description from from item. That's the problem right here. From item. Okay. Where item ID in the select item ID from invoice line. Where you okay? So this is good. So that's what we're gonna do and run it. There we go. See that? We got the same result as before. So either one is you can do either one. I found out the first one that we did, it was like straightforward. Okay. Either way, it doesn't matter. They all produce the same result. Okay, question at this point. All right, so what you can do, now you have the table, you have the data. All what you need to do, go down the list and practice each one of them, okay? Use the chapter 5 slides and go over each one of them because they write the command in the slide. So do not just copy and paste. Understand the statement. What's the purpose of it? And each clause, what that mean? What is that used for? So this way, it'll give you more understanding what's going on. And the good things about this one here, it tells you the expected result. When you execute it, it tells you how the table should look like, how the output should look like. So Please do all the way to, let's say, let's see, employee. How about till slide 20? Okay. All the way to slide 20. Just practice to slide 20. So between now and Thursday, please do that. How many of y'all is going to do it? How many is going to finish all this one by Thursday? You can, of course. How about the rest? The rest, I don't know what's going on with them. I did what you did today. Awesome. So you had ahead of the game. That's awesome. So continue till slide 20. Yep. So just like if you follow the same instructions like what you see in there, you'll be okay. All right, and try to do all the stuff. And if you have a question, please let me know. So, I mean, it's a good course to learn database because every business, I mean, they have database. So at least you know what's going on. You will have an idea as an IT guy. So you might use this one. Some people, this is their specialties. Okay. So you can build on this foundation to be, handling and managing database. And believe it or not, we hired one lady one time because she has little small understanding of database, like this level. And from there, I mean, she's making puku money. Database is very important, so that's good. If I started my career earlier on databases, I'll be in a different shape right now. So database is good, okay? And a lot of organizations, they need DBA, database administrator. You can Google it, see how much money they can make. So that's a good to have. Because the boss is gonna tell you, I want this report. So what you do, you have to write the queries like we're doing to generate the report. And if you don't understand how you do the tables, how to build, how to structure the database, um, how to put the queries, you're not gonna be able to generate that report. That's enough said. So if you have a question, please let me know. If not, we're gonna end it right here today.